white. So artists often use a yellow ochre or something that's quite tonal. It could just be like a really kind of washed out browny colour. Just paint, and it doesn't need to take long, but just paint over the canvas, paint the sides of the canvas, and just get rid of that white. Because what you'll find is that the colours really pop out more easily against something that's quite tonal. The brightness of a white can be quite distracting sometimes. Number 2, do not start with the most important part of your picture. Make sure that you're in a good stride, you're warmed up to the drawing, and that when you come to those small details and those really important focal points of the picture, that you are already warmed up. So think background, middle ground, foreground. Start with the largest things in the drawing that are furthest back. Work your way forward into the picture. The very last thing that you should do are your tiny details. So do not be tempted to dive straight into a small important detail. It's the opposite to that. Those things need to come last. Colour mixing. Make sure you take the time to mix your colours, and don't be lazy squeezing them out of the pots. Make sure that everything is really blended together nicely and that you enjoy that process as well. Some artists find that using a glass sheet instead of a plastic palette is effective. So if you did have an old picture frame or something, like a glass panel that you could use, don't go out and buy one, but if you had one lying around not being used, that you could use that as a palette instead, that could work for you. Don't worry about the mistakes. The beauty of painting onto a canvas, whether you're using oil or acrylic or whether you're using watercolour, is that all these paints eventually are going to dry. You can just paint over the mistakes. So don't hold back, go for it. If something doesn't work, if it's acrylic, you leave it to dry and work on it when it's dry, or just work on top of paint when it's wet. So it really doesn't matter, and I think there is something really brilliant in letting those mistakes happen and stepping back and seeing and making that judgment in the moment. So don't be kind of rigidly trying to make a really perfect painting, because that in itself could really hold you back. The last point is going to be just enjoy it. So what I really want you guys to get into doing is making work that is enjoyable in the process. So don't be stressed. Don't let that filtrate into your work. Just try to relax, try to really get into what you're doing, and be self-critical, yes, be your harshest judge, but also just enjoy the process of what you're doing. And if you're not enjoying it, then just question, why is this not enjoyable for me? Is it the subject? Is it the way that I'm painting? Seek advice. Make sure that you're in contact with friends, peers, but also with me if you need to contact me, and be quite honest about how it's going, because it might be that someone else can really see something from their side that you're not seeing. So try to really enjoy the process, and then also contact people to seek advice and seek help if you find that that's not happening. I hope that has been helpful. Good luck with your painting.